You know, it is so hilarious and at the same time a disgusting, irritating historical mistake for the Europeans to declare that Africans could not read and write when they arrived in the mid-15th century from their slave boats. It is an unforgivable historical mistake. Lovers of knowledge and people of the sun, I want you to calm down, grab your pen, listen to me, and start writing because you're going to learn a lot. If this is the first time you're coming to my page, Ebenezer Heru, congratulations, you're highly welcome. We are in the age of rewriting the lies, the demoralizing, the demonizing, and the vituperating history written about our great African ancestors by the invaders. Before I step into this hocus pocus and jiggery-pokery talk that our great African ancestors could not read and write, I want to state it here that the first human being on earth to write a book was a black man named Ptahhotep. Now, I don't want you to get confused. Ptahhotep is different from Imhotep. Both are African Egyptians. Imhotep was the first multi-genius, a man who built the first pyramid in the world around 2780 BCE during the Egyptian Third Dynasty for his pharaoh Djoser, a pyramid they named the Step Pyramid of Djoser. Now, this pyramid is older than the biblical Tower of Babel and Adam and Eve story. Imhotep was the first multi-genius, the first physician and the first medical doctor in the world who cured over 200 diseases, including tuberculosis, ampidensitis, and arthritis. Now, when the Europeans came to Egypt, now let me tell you, the name is not Egypt. It was called Kemet. And what is Kemet? The land of the blacks, before they changed it to Egypt, telling you that the indigenous people of that land were very black. So the current people in Egypt are not Egyptians. They are invaders who invaded the land around December 639 AD to 641 AD. The people in Egypt today are not Egyptians. I want you to get this clear. They are invaders. Now, when the Europeans came to Egypt, they copied the worship of this man and they deified him to the status of a god. And they transmogrified his name from Imhotep to Osclepius. And Osclepius in Greece simply means the god of healing. That is Imhotep. Now, Ptahhotep wrote the oldest book in the world titled The Maxims of Ptahhotep around 2700 BCE. This is the first book on moral philosophy and how humans can have an appropriate behavior to live in an organized society of law and order. The first time we heard of the white people called the Europeans was around 833 BCE, when Homer, a Greek European, wrote the first two books of Europe titled The Iliad and the Odyssey in 833 BCE. In fact, if you meticulously read those books written by Homer, the Iliad and the Odyssey, Homer said that even the concept of worshipping a god was copied from the Africans in Ethiopia. Homer said that Zeus and Apollo, who are seen as European gods in Greece, were in fact African gods that were copied from the Ethiopians by the Europeans. During this time, the Europeans were in the ice, in the cave, hunting animals for survival. The Africans have already established higher institution of learning. The Africans had mystery schools and system, which can be seen as the first standard education of learning, where people all over the world came to acquire their early education. And during this time, the place we call Europe or Rome was not in history. One important thing we Africans of the 21st century must know is that before Oxford and Cambridge universities came into existence, our African ancestors built the oldest university in the world, built in Africa, named the University of Al Qairain in Fars, Morocco, established in 859 AD. Before any Western university was built in Europe, Africans had the Al-Azhar University, established in 970 AD in Cairo, Egypt. After Africans established these universities in Africa, in the year 711 AD, when we conquered some parts of Europe, such as Spain, France, and Portugal, we helped the Europeans to establish a university for them named the University of Salamanca in Spain around 1134. After we brought education to white Europeans, we educated many of their youths in this University of Salamanca in Spain. The first teachers or lecturers of Oxford and Cambridge universities were students in the University of Salamanca, learning under the feet of our black African ancestors. After they acquired lots of knowledge from our African ancestors in Spain, they used that knowledge and became the first lecturers, the first teachers, and the first professors in Oxford and Cambridge universities. As I said earlier, we are in the age of knowing. We are in the age of knowing our untold and buried African history. Therefore, I implore you to read and buy the book I wrote and authored titled The Untold History of the Black Race, which is the updated version in Volume 1 and Volume 2. Please, the book is only in PDF format, not in hard copy. If you want to buy, don't make your request on the comment section. Send a message to my inbox indicating you want to buy the book. There are other books I will introduce to you once you buy the first one. And these books will facilitate your awakening and boost your confidence as a black man about how great your ancestors were in antiquity. Peace.